When she stopped eating sugar for 30 days, she didn't expect much. Maybe she'd lose a pound or two. Maybe her cravings would go away. What she didn't expect, her hormones would go haywire in the best way possible. By day 10, she wasn't just sleeping better. Her moods had stabilized. Her PMS symptoms were nearly non-existent. Her energy was higher in the morning. And her skin looked, and this is her word, glowing. So what happened? Let's break it down. The average adult consumes between 17 to 25 teaspoons of added sugar per day, most of it hidden in healthy foods like yogurt, protein bars, sauces, even oat milk. And while most people know sugar leads to weight gain and diabetes, few understand what it does to female hormones, especially after 35. Because sugar doesn't just feed cravings. It disrupts your endocrine system at every level. It hijacks your insulin, spikes your cortisol, suppresses your growth hormone, and messes with estrogen and progesterone balance, the very hormones that regulate your energy, metabolism, cycle, skin, sleep, and emotional state. So when she cut out all added sugar for 30 days, no cookies, no syrups, no hidden sugars in dressings or drinks, her body went through something remarkable. Let's start with insulin. Within the first 48 hours, her blood sugar stabilized. No more crashes after meals. No more hangry mood swings. And without those rapid glucose spikes and insulin dumps, her cells started regaining sensitivity. Insulin is the master switch. When it's high, your body stores fat. When it's balanced, your body starts to burn it again. By day 7, her belly was visibly flatter, not because of fat loss yet, but because of reduced inflammation and bloating. Next came cortisol, the stress hormone. Most people don't realize this, but sugar acts like an emotional stimulant. It activates the reward center in your brain and gives you a temporary sense of calm, followed by a crash. That crash triggers stress, and stress triggers cortisol. For women, this is critical. Elevated cortisol disrupts ovulation, delays menstruation, increases fat storage, especially in the belly, and keeps the body in a fight-or-flight state. When she stopped eating sugar, her cortisol stopped swinging. Her body stopped panicking. Her nervous system, for the first time in years, started to regulate. She reported waking up with more ease, less anxiety in the mornings, fewer racing thoughts at night. This wasn't just psychological, it was biochemical. Her sleep improved drastically. Why? Because sugar before bed delays melatonin release and increases nighttime cortisol, the perfect recipe for shallow, fragmented sleep. After 10 days without sugar, she reported sleeping through the night, deeper and more restoratively than she had in years. And then came the real shocker, her menstrual cycle. By week 3, her PMS symptoms were dramatically reduced. Her cycle came on time. Her cramps were less intense. Her mood swings were nearly gone. Why? Because sugar doesn't just mess with insulin and cortisol. It also interferes with the delicate dance between estrogen and progesterone. When insulin is high, like it is when you eat sugar frequently, it throws off the enzymes responsible for converting hormones. Estrogen dominance becomes more likely, and with it, bloating, heavy periods, breast tenderness, mood volatility. Without sugar, her estrogen and progesterone found a new balance, and the difference was not subtle. But what really shocked the doctors wasn't just her physical state. It was her lab work. Her doctor ran a full hormone panel at the end of the 30-day experiment. Not out of concern, but out of curiosity. What they found confirmed what she was feeling. Her fasting insulin had dropped by over 20%. Her HbA1c, a 3-month average of blood sugar, improved by an entire point. Her cortisol curve, which had previously shown signs of dysregulation, too high at night, too low in the morning, was now balanced, with healthy, sloping patterns. But the most surprising part? Her testosterone and estrogen levels had shifted, slightly but noticeably, in the right direction. Women produce testosterone too, and after 35, it begins to decline. but excess sugar can suppress it even further. After 30 days sugar-free, her free testosterone had risen slightly, enough to improve her libido, drive, and confidence. Meanwhile, her estrogen to progesterone ratio had moved into healthier range. Before, her labs hinted at estrogen dominance, a common hormonal pattern in women over 40, especially those who consume high-sugar diets. It causes mood swings, weight gain, heavy periods, breast tenderness, and even fibroids. With insulin stabilized and cortisol reduced, her estrogen normalized, and her progesterone, the calming, anti-anxiety hormone, was finally able to rise. She didn't just feel better. She was biochemically more balanced. Now here's the deeper truth. This isn't a miracle. It's not even rare. It's just what happens when the endocrine system is finally freed from one of its biggest saboteurs, sugar. When sugar is removed from the diet, here's a simplified chain reaction that often follows. Blood sugar stabilizes. Insulin levels drop. Insulin drops. Inflammation reduces. Inflammation drops. Cortisol stops surging. Cortisol stabilizes. Estrogen, progesterone, balance improves. Hormonal balance. Better sleep. Clearer skin. Stable mood. Improved metabolism. Stronger cycle regulation. And these changes don't take years. They can happen in weeks. But here's the catch. Sugar is addictive, not metaphorically, neurologically. It lights up the same reward circuits in the brain as cocaine. That's why quitting it isn't just a dietary choice, it's a neurological reset. And in the first 5 to 7 days, she experienced withdrawal. She had headaches, brain fog, intense cravings, emotional waves she didn't expect. Not because her body needed the sugar, but because her brain had to rewire itself away from the dopamine loop sugar had hijacked. But once she got through that first week, it got easier. Her taste buds recalibrated. Her cravings faded. Her emotional highs and lows smoothed out. She didn't just feel better, she felt more in control. And the weight, that came off too. By the end of 30 days, she'd lost 8 pounds. Not through restriction or over-exercising, but through a simple shift in biochemistry. Her body was no longer holding on to excess water or fat due to insulin resistance and cortisol overload. Her face looked leaner, her energy more vibrant, and she described a feeling she hadn't felt in years. Lightness. Not just in weight, but in mind. And that's what surprised the experts most. It wasn't that her hormones improved, they expected that. It was how quickly it happened. How holistically the changes showed up. How one shift, no added sugar, had a domino effect across her entire endocrine system. Of course, this isn't just about women. Men benefit from sugar reduction too, especially in testosterone preservation and insulin sensitivity. But for women, especially those in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, where hormones are already in flux, cutting sugar is like removing the static from a radio. Suddenly, your body starts broadcasting clearly again. So does that mean you should never touch sugar again? Not necessarily. But understanding its impact, especially on hormones, means you can make better choices. Smarter ones, more conscious ones. Because sugar doesn't just affect your weight. It rearranges your chemistry. And when you remove it, even for just 30 days, you don't just change your body. You change who's in control. Now let's zoom out and look at what this means long-term, not just for one woman, but for millions who are unknowingly living under the hormonal influence of sugar. Sugar has become so normalized in our culture that we rarely question it. It hides behind labels like organic cane juice, evaporated syrup, or natural sweetener. It's in the granola we think is healthy, the salad dressings we trust, and the oat milk in our lattes. It's in our routines, our comforts, and even our self-care. But what doctors and researchers are now realizing is that for many women, especially after age 35, this invisible sugar drip is fueling a silent hormonal storm. When you remove sugar, even temporarily, you give your body the chance to reset its hormonal compass. Women who do this often report more predictable menstrual cycles, less bloating and inflammation, Dramatic reductions in acne and skin issues, clearer thinking and improved memory, restored libido and sexual confidence, fewer hot flashes and perimenopausal symptoms, deeper, restorative sleep. And in many cases, an unexpected return of emotional stability. These aren't just diet benefits. These are hormonal revolutions. What's more, the benefits are compounding. Once sugar is removed and hormones begin to rebalance, the gut heals faster, nutrient absorption improves, the thyroid stabilizes, and even the immune system gets stronger. It's not just about what's removed, it's about what the body can finally start doing again. But here's the warning. Going back to sugar after 30 days, especially in large amounts, often results in an intense biological backlash. Headaches, water retention, mood dips, anxiety spikes, even irregular periods. Why? Because your body has adapted to a new balance, and sugar, when reintroduced suddenly, feels like a toxin. That's why many who complete a 30-day sugar detox say they can't go back, at least not the way they used to. The cost is too high. The contrast is too sharp. So what's the solution? Live like sugar is a choice, not a default. Read your labels. Anything ending in OC is likely sugar. Opt for fruit in whole form, not juices or syrups. Use sweeteners like stevia, monk fruit, or erythritol if needed, in small doses. And most importantly, connect the dots. If you're having trouble with mood swings, weight gain, poor sleep, low libido, or irregular cycles, before blaming age, stress, or your genetics, ask about your sugar intake. Because in many cases, sugar is the hidden variable. And once it's removed, the fog clears. The fire calms. The balance begins. She didn't just cut sugar. She reclaimed her chemistry. And maybe so can you. Because your hormones aren't broken. They're overstimulated. And 30 days without sugar might just be the quiet reset your body has been begging for all along.